everyone, welcome to Watch It Played. My name is Rodney Smith, and this is going to be a quick news and updates video with just two items that I want to cover. First off, at the end of this week, well, at least at the time of this recording anyway, I'm going to be traveling to the Gathering of Friends. And this is kind of a unique convention. It was started by Alan R. Moon, the designer of Ticket to Ride, and it's unique for, well, a couple of reasons primarily. One is that it's by invitation only, and somehow this Canadian snuck his way in. And two, it's quite a long convention. It's 10 full days I'll be at this thing. And so I wanted to let you know because it means there's obviously going to be a bit of an interruption to the content releasing during April here. Now, while I'm gone, I'm going to carve out time each day to work on scripts and do other tasks related to the show. But if you want to see what I'm doing there at the Gathering of Friends, you can certainly feel free to follow me on Twitter at WatchItPlayed, and I'll post pictures of games I'm playing and maybe some live videos of things that I'm trying out as well. Oh, I also meant to mention, after I get home from the Gathering of Friends, I'll be back for just a couple of days, and then I have to take off again for another work-related engagement. So basically what I'm saying is April is going to be a bit of a mess. But if all goes well, I'll still get out in April 2 tutorial videos, an overview, kind of preview for a game, as well as we'll complete the Star Wars Legion playthrough. When you get the majority of your funding, as I do, through the generosity of people like yourselves who watch, I always feel like I want to come on and explain when there's interruptions in the service that you have supported. And my hope is that over the course of the year, everything balances out. When I know there's going to be a lot of travel, I just kind of double down on the work, and then I double down after I get back. And hopefully, although there'll be interruptions, overall, the amount of content that is releasing remains the same or improves. So I try to stay conscious of that, and hopefully I strike the right balance. But I have to say, one of the great things about going to these different conventions and on these different trips is I have had an opportunity to meet many of you who watch the show in person, and that has always been very special to me. And not only that, I'm starting to see some people at these conventions over and over again. So really what it's caused is friendships and actual real relationships to be formed. And some of those relationships have become really strong bonds, and I always feel very grateful for these opportunities that I've had. Actually, speaking of great friendships, that kind of brings me to the second thing I wanted to talk about in this video. Because one of those great friendships is with the folks over at the Secret Cabal Gaming Podcast. I'm sure many, if not all of you, are familiar with their podcast. But if not, you know what, it's hard to blame you because there's just so much content being created for board games these days. It would be easy to miss some things here and there. So if you're not familiar with them, I'll put a link to their podcast in the description of this video, along with a link to their YouTube channel. And I do highly recommend you check them out. I mean, I started listening to them many years ago, soon after they started. And I laughed, I learned things, I was entertained. But I think maybe the most important thing to me anyways, and I think for a lot of people who listen to them, I felt a connection. I felt like I was a part of their community, even though I was many miles away in a totally different country. And there's something special about that. I also really, I guess as a content creator myself, I really appreciated the work they put into the production of their show. I could tell that they valued quality over quantity. And that certainly appealed to me. So I reached out to them through Board Game Geek. I sent a message, and I was promptly ignored. I didn't hear from them for, I think, months. It turns out that Chris Miller, one of the hosts who was responsible for managing their Board Game Geek account, wasn't really checking it all that regularly. So when they finally did, I did get a message back. And I guess we hit it off right away. We started playing games online. We talked regularly. We talked about content creation. We talked about some of the challenges. We supported each other. We celebrated each other's successes. We met in person at conventions, and we started sharing rooms together at conventions. It led to many shenanigans and lots of nonsense, but it was also really special. I mean, I feel like I've formed lifelong friendships with the people who make up the Secret Cabal Gaming Podcast. And that's been really special to me. And they keep adding new hosts to the show. And because of that, I keep making more and more friends through it. So it's been a very special and meaningful relationship to me. I realize this is all getting a little bit personal. The reason for me sharing those details is really just to give you a context for why it is that I wanted to take your time up here to let you know that they're currently having their annual fundraiser for their show. I know it's not possible and it wouldn't be appropriate for me to use this platform to just plug every little thing that I have an interest in, but when it comes to people I truly care about, on occasion, I hope to use this platform to be helpful in that way, and I hope you'll excuse or understand why I'm doing that now. Last year, their fundraiser really was about allowing Jamie, one of their hosts, to go full-time with the show. And they accomplished that. And because of that, they were able to create an entirely new podcast to go along with their regular podcast and really start working on their YouTube channel. And the thing I think that was the most important about all of that is not only were they able to create new content, but they didn't have to dilute all the things they were working on because now they had someone working full-time on it. So it allowed them to keep the quality up. And I couldn't be prouder of the work and the work that Jamie has put into creating that content for the show. And yes, they've got cool perks and promos that you can pick up through the fundraiser, which again, I'll link to in the description below. But what I would really ask is if there's something about the show that you've enjoyed. Maybe you've been entertained. Maybe you've saved a few dollars. Maybe they reviewed a game and you're like, oh boy, that doesn't sound like one that I would enjoy. Or maybe you found a really great game that you've had a great time playing with your friends and family because of their show. Then I would just ask that you consider supporting them. I'll tell you, one of the hardest things about fundraising for a show is just getting the word out, honestly. There's lots of people who would like to, say, support my show or support their show, but because of all the information we're being bombarded with, you just miss things along the way. So primarily what I'm hoping is I'm just getting the word out to people who would already like to support the show but might otherwise have missed hearing about the fact that their fundraiser is going right now. Oh, there is one specific perk that I did want to bring attention to. It's pretty cool. They're going to actually be publishing a book through this fundraiser as one of their giveaways. And it'll come in both ebook and print version. And so the different hosts of the show will be contributing to this. It'll be a lot of tips and tricks for role-playing sessions and so on. And there's going to be original artwork by Steve Spang, the truly accomplished artist who is also a host on the show. You really should check out the artwork that you'll see on their fundraiser page for that. But okay, I have a little bit of a bias here because they invited me to write the foreword to the book. So I'm pretty jazzed about that. And that's the reason why I'm kind of pushing that perk a little bit more. So if that looks like it might interest you, do check it out. Well, listen, that's everything I wanted to share. Thank you again for your time. Thank you for considering this. And until the next episode, thanks for watching.